he worked on the railroad. You probably know that.
I just found that out yesterday.
Yeah, and he was the boss and had a crew, and they cleaned up the wrecks or the. If you go up the canyon, it's just a beautiful, beautiful drive. It's really pretty, but there's lots of slides. Well, I thought when I married him, he was older, he would prepare for me a home and all of that, which he didn't. He wanted me to go with him on the railroad and live in a boxcar. And you see these freight trains, that's what I lived in. And I was 19 years old and naive and innocent. So I fixed up the boxcar with red checkered curtains, and he made a table that would fold down. You had to be able to move, you know. And then there was a coal stove. I had never cooked on anything like that. It wasn't a cooking stove, it's heating. But that's all I had to cook with, was just a flat top. And I had never even made a fire. But I made red checkered curtains to go with my tablecloth, and I scrubbed and cleaned and made it really nice as I could. Well, they would go out every day working, taking care of the tracks and taking care of slides. And they would be in the middle of nowhere, you know, there would be there's no stores. And so where it was parked, a side line, we were parked on that, and then the water car was left there, and I think a coal car left there. So I would be there all day by myself, and I was lonely, and I was a kid. And one day I just was lonely, and I went outside to walk around, and it was sandy, and I just reached down and drew a hopscotch, you know, like a circle, 2 squares, and then a long rectangle, and you jump in there, you know. And I just drew that in the sand. Then I heard a whistle of a train that was coming, so I hurried up and got in the car. Well, they pulled over on a passing track. That freight train did. And in those days, there were hobos, we called them, and they traveled from one job to another, looking the country over. That's the way men that didn't have money traveled. And so it was full of hobos that were catching a ride to somewhere. Well, then they stayed there, and another train came on the main track. So that was 2 trains, and they both stopped. Well, the smoke was coming out of my coal stove. They saw that and my curtains, and they knew a woman was there. So they began on both trains coming over to see me. Well, I knew I was going to be killed, you know, so I had an axe, and I got that, and I went and got a couple knives out of the kitchen. And by the time I went to the door, and they were there was about 16 men, and they looked bad. And I thought, well, I will kill one man. I'll get one man. I can't do it all, but I will. So they began knocking, and I opened the door, and they asked if I had any food. And I said, yes, I have some, and if you'll just stay there, I will fix you what sandwiches I can. I had 2 loaves of bread. The conductors on the passenger train the men would stop, and I'd give them a list of groceries I needed, and then on the way back they'd give me my groceries. And so I had like enough for a week. And when I was preparing those sandwiches, the one that looked the worst to me started hopping on that hopscotch, and he said, I haven't seen one of these since I left Sheboygan. And I thought, a man that played hopscotch wouldn't kill you. You know, that's,
Yeah.
I began to stop shaking. And so I had 2 loaves of bread, one for one train and one for the other. And I gave them a whole loaf of bread, each one with peanut butter and what sandwiches and what lunch meat I had. And those guys just thanked me and thanked me and thanked me, and God blessed me and hoped I had a good long life, which I have. But that was my story.